John, if you don't bring a girlfriend home today, don't bother coming back to see me. I'm so sorry to your parents. They left us so early, and I haven't been able to take good care of you. You're over 30 and still don't have a wife. Oh dear, when will I ever be able to hold my great-grandson? Grandma, I understand. John was sitting in his office when his grandmother called to urge him to go on a blind date. He refused, and that's when she said those words. Let's go out for a bit. John picked up his coat from the chair and said to his assistant, Cole, beside him. President John, where to? The orphanage. What? The orphanage? Upon arriving at the orphanage, John got out of the car, where Director Tom was already waiting at the entrance. President John has arrived. Tom treated him with utmost respect, because John donates $10 million to the orphanage every year. Find me a little boy around 3 years old, I want to adopt him. Yes, President John, arrange it immediately. In no time, 7 or 8 boys around 3 years old stood in a row, waiting for him to choose. A little boy was running around uncontrollably, and the teacher was chasing after him while spraying water at John with a water gun. Tom said to the teacher, take him away, and then quickly took out tissues to wipe John dry. Wait, this is him. He squatted down in front of the child and said, little boy, from now on you'll be called George. I'm your father. Would you like to come home with me? No, I want to play with my friends. Hey, what are you saying? Follow your father, your good fortune is yet to come, Tom advised. Assistant Cole, complete the formalities and take this boy to the old lady. Yes, President John. After George left the orphanage, he cried bitterly in the car, and John covered one ear. President John, this child seems quite naughty, why did you choose him? The naughtier the better, that way he can exhaust Grandma's energy, and she won't bother me anymore. President John is so thoughtful. How should I tell the old lady? Just say that the mother of the child I've been looking for has been found, and this is my biological son. Okay, I understand. By the way, has that girl been found? Not yet, she seems to have disappeared after that day. John recalled that summer 4 years ago when he went to attend the auction for that piece of land in the east of the city. He was tricked by a competitor and went to a hotel room to rest. There, he found a girl lying in bed. After a hazy night with her, he discovered it was her virginity. He was called away by a phone call and left his business card before leaving, but the girl never contacted him again. Inside an old house, Sophia was kneeling before her stepmother, Wanda, with her sister Mabel sitting beside her. Her stepmother was striking Sophia's palm with a ruler, and she instinctively flinched. You shameless bastard, you had a one-night stand with someone and got a child out of it. Auntie, I beg you, tell me where you sent the child, I want to see him. He threw him into the mountains to feed the wolves. I don't believe it. Sophia, after all these years, shouldn't you accept reality? Mabel said with a smile. Wasn't it you who plotted against me back then? Who are you talking about? I didn't do such a thing. It was you who were indecent. Just then, Dad came home and walked into the living room. She made a mistake again? A couple of slaps will do. There's a banquet tomorrow, you'll take them both there, don't hurt them and make a fool of yourself. Get up now. Thank you, Auntie. Sophia said meekly. The old lady was watering the flowers in the old house's yard. Cole's assistant walked in. Madam, this is George, your great-grandson. President John asked me to bring him to you. What? A great-grandson? Where did this great-grandson come from? This is the child born to the girl who had a one-night stand with President John 4 years ago. We just found him recently. The old lady carefully examined George. This child looks just like John when he was a child. Great-grandma, hello. Hello George, you're so good. Great-grandma, the flowers you planted are so beautiful. Really? Do you like them? Yes, let's water the flowers. The old lady was overjoyed. Not only did she have a great-grandson, but this great-grandson was also so sweet-talking and endearing. Cole's assistant chuckled to himself. On the way there, he had already reached an agreement with George. If he could make the old lady happy, he would buy her a toy. Sure enough, no child could resist the temptation of toys. When John returned to the old house that evening, he heard the old lady's hearty laughter from the living room before he even entered. "Grandma, I'm home." He saw George playing with building blocks with his grandmother. "Grandma, I'm home." "Okay, fine, you're back now." "Grandma, you weren't like this to me before." In just half a day, George had already taken his place, John thought. Dad's home." George ran over, opened his arms, and let John hug him. John was a little embarrassed, but he still opened his arms and hugged him, then patted his back, making George cough twice. Be gentle, don't hurt my great-grandson." "Okay." George stuck his tongue out at John and made a face. "I asked you, where is George's mother?" Grandma pulled John along. "The child's mother, she's been quite busy lately, but said she'll come to see you in a while. She asked me to bring the child over first so they can spend more time together." "Okay, that's good." After dinner, the old lady asked John to give George a bath. "I won't bathe him," John said, "let him bathe himself. He's only 3 years old, you have to help him. Can't you even do this much as a father? I think you need to learn how to be a good dad." Okay, I'll take a bath, alright?" John filled the tub with water, helped George undress, and put him in the bathtub. Mischievous George smeared bubbles on John's face and kept splashing water with his feet. Before long, John was half wet. Stop. John sighed, drying himself off. He couldn't understand how a child raised in an orphanage could still be so mischievous. He dried George off, dressed him in pajamas, and found him dozing off while standing. He carried him upstairs and found him asleep. "This kid falls asleep instantly." He smiled, looking at the adorable little one in his arms. The next day, at the banquet, Sophia wore a white dress, and even though she had given birth, it couldn't hide her perfect figure. "Mrs. Zyla, this is my daughter Mabel. Please take good care of her in the future. Mabel has grown into a beautiful young woman. Is she ready to marry?" "Not yet. If you find someone suitable, please introduce us, Mrs. Zyla." "What do you think of my Daniel?" "He's also single." "Daniel? Where's Daniel?" "Miss, what's your name?" Daniel asked curiously, noticing Sophia in the corner, dressed in a gown but eating heartily. "I don't befriend jerks," she replied, turning back to continue eating. She was starving, her stepmother locked her up and let her go hungry for 2 meals whenever she misbehaved. Daniel chuckled. "That's quite blunt. Well, what if I said I'm interested in you?" Sophia put down her food, wiped her hands, picked up a glass of red wine, and poured it directly over his head. Daniel. When Mrs. Zyla saw her son had been splashed with wine, she scolded loudly, "Whose daughter is this? How dare she?" "I'm so sorry, Mrs. Zyla, this is my eldest daughter. Her mother died young, and she has no manners. Please don't hold it against her." Her stepmother, Wanda, quickly came over with a smile. "Auntie, didn't you always teach me? If you encounter a jerk, don't hesitate to slap him." "I never taught you that." "Who are you calling a jerk?" Daniel said angrily. "Sophia, shut up. I'll deal with you when we get home. Come here and apologize to Daniel." "Oh, it's you. Come here and wipe the wine off for me, and I'll forgive you." "I won't." "Sophia." Her stepmother raised her hand to hit her. "Stop." Just then, John from upstairs pulled George downstairs. "Mr. John, what brings you here?" Mrs. Zyla said. John was a distinguished guest. "Why are you bullying a little girl?" "She's not just a little girl, she slept with other men," Mabel revealed. The people around immediately gathered and started talking. George ran over and helped her up. "Auntie, let me help you up." "Thank you, little boy." Sophia got up and squatted down next to him, stroking the little boy. I'll take Miss Sophia with me now. Does Mrs. Zyla have any objections? John said. No, the business still depended on the John family, so she naturally wouldn't offend him over such a small matter. Auntie, let's go. The three walked out of the banquet hall. President John, thank you. Miss Sophia, please watch your words and actions to avoid gossip. President John, this is my private matter, it's none of your business. Daddy, I'm hungry, George whined to John. So he was already married, Sophia thought. Then I'll take you to eat something delicious. I want Auntie to come with me. I'm not going. Auntie, please come with me. George tugged at Sophia's hand, shaking it playfully. If you're free later, you can come along, just to keep George company. Okay, George. The three of them went to a high-end family-friendly restaurant, and John ordered a set meal. George, the ice cream here is delicious, would you like to try some? Auntie, have you ever eaten here before? When I was little, my mom often brought me here to eat. She thought of her mother. Years ago, her father had an affair with Wanda, and Wanda, accompanied by Mabel, came directly to their house. Her mother was so angered that she died. Auntie. Sophia's thoughts were pulled back by George. Then I want ice cream. Waiter, one ice cream, please, John said. It's delicious. Auntie, you should have a bite too. George took a bite, then fed Sophia with a spoon. It tastes just as good as before, thank you, George. She patted George's head. Dad, have a bite too. Faced with the spoon George offered, he couldn't refuse and took a bite. Sophia and John looked at each other and smiled awkwardly. It feels so good to have a mom and dad. Where's your mom? I don't have a mom. Sophia didn't press the child further, afraid of upsetting her. Later, I want Auntie to take me to the amusement park, is that okay, Auntie? George, that's a bit much. You've only just met Auntie today, don't cause her any trouble. George pouted. It's okay, Auntie will stay with you, Auntie likes George. Okay. George cheered happily. The three of them rode the carousel together, blew bubbles together, and pulled George high into the air. John carried the sleeping George and Sophia across the pedestrian bridge. Will they give you trouble when they go back? Do you need me to take you home? No need, Mr. John, I can handle it myself. Okay, thank you for spending time with George today, he had a great time. He spent time with me too, I'm happy too. Walking off the bridge, Sophia waved to a taxi and waved goodbye to John. So you finally decided to come back? Stepmother Wanda and Dad sat on the sofa. Dad, Auntie, I spent the whole day with President John, I'm exhausted. She rubbed her arms and back. President John? John? Dad said in surprise. Yes. How could John be interested in someone like you who's had a child? Dad, President John said that if you make things difficult for me. Daughter, what are you saying? Go upstairs and rest. Good night, Daddy and Auntie. Sophia said, giving Wanda a smug smile before going upstairs. Sigh, you have no idea how much she offended someone today, making me have to smile at them like that. Wanda didn't say anything more, sitting on the sofa with her arms crossed. You little brat, just you wait, she thought through gritted teeth. Lying in bed that night, John reflected on his day with Sophia and thought she was a kind and lovely girl. Even though they'd only known each other for a day, he had a strange feeling of déjà vu. The next morning, the family of 4 was having breakfast at the restaurant. Dad, can I go to work? I've been unemployed for a long time and you're getting on in years. I want to help ease your burden, Sophia asked tentatively. No, you haven't fully recovered yet, you should rest at home, Wanda tried to stop her. Auntie, I met President John today and made a good impression on him. Maybe we can do business with him in the future. Sophie is right. You studied architecture in college, so you should intern in the design department. They would never have agreed to let Sophia work for the company before. Sophia thought guiltily. John, I'm sorry, can I borrow you for a bit? Everyone, please stop for a moment. Let me introduce you. This is Sophia, who is here today to report to our design department. I hope we can all get along well. He led Sophia into the design department. Hello everyone, please take care of me in the future. Another one who got in through connections. Yara whispered to her colleagues, a disdainful expression on her face. The group recently had an architectural design tender, and our company will be bidding this year. Let's all work hard and hope that our department can come up with an excellent design proposal. Yara, your design is sure to be the best in our company, a colleague told her. Yara smiled smugly, feeling confident of victory. Just then, Yara received a text message, keep a close eye on her. At noon, Sophia went to the restroom and washed her hands at the sink when Mabel came out. Sister, how's work today? After all, you've been staying home doing nothing for 3 or 4 years. Don't worry about me, I'm doing fine, Sophia replied before leaving. Let's see how long you can last, Mabel thought to herself. Sophia, for this rare opportunity, had been researching day and night, drawing and designing again and again. 2 days later, everyone submitted their design proposals, awaiting the final judgment. The board of directors unanimously selected Yara's design from all the submitted drafts. I hope the other colleagues won't be discouraged and will keep up the good work. Minister Wang announced the result directly. Yara smiled proudly, enjoying the overwhelming praise from everyone. It's okay, Sophia. After all, I haven't worked since graduation. Sophia was disappointed when she heard the result, but she still tried to cheer herself up. She chose architecture as her major in college, and her academic performance was outstanding. She won several awards in competitions and received high praise from her professors. If it weren't for Mabel's machinations at the graduation party, her life wouldn't have gone astray for so long. This design is good, John said, flipping through the design proposal that had been sent to him. Yes, Mr. John. Cole's assistant was standing next to him with a folder in hand. Yara, bring your design proposal and come with me to a meeting at H Group this afternoon. Okay, Minister Wang. Sophia, come along too and learn. Thank you, Minister Wang. Although I wasn't selected, it's still a happy thing to learn from such a big project. Sophia was secretly pleased. In the afternoon, the three arrived at the group's conference room. Cole's assistant opened the conference room door, and the three stood up in unison. John walked in handsomely and sat down in the head seat, looking every bit the domineering CEO. He glanced at Sophia, who smiled and nodded at him. Let's begin. At his command, Yara stood up, and the PowerPoint presentation appeared on the projector. Sophia's body stiffened slightly in shock the moment she saw the large screen, as if she were a statue. How can this be so closely identical to my design drawings? Did she steal my design? Her anxious heart pounded wildly in her chest. What is your design concept? John asked, noticing her somewhat incoherent statement. My design concept is, Yara hesitated. The design concept is a perfect fusion of nature and science, Sophia mustered her courage and stood up to say. Oh? You understand your own plan better than she does, interesting. Minister Wang gestured for her to sit down. Let her speak. Sophia walked to the projector and vividly explained the design plan and concepts. After she finished, John clapped and praised her. Minister Wang, go back and investigate this thoroughly. John got up and left the meeting room. Check Sophia's information, John said to Cole's assistant as they walked. Yes, President John. Minister Wang looked at Yara, who lowered her head guiltily. Yara packed her things and left the company that same day. After get off work, Sophia went to the cemetery. She wiped the tombstone and placed flowers on it. Mom, what belongs to me, I will definitely get back. Great-grandma, when is Daddy coming back? George asked while playing with his toys. George misses Daddy? Just then, John returned, and George ran over to hug him upon hearing his voice. Come here, Daddy will give you a hug. John picked him up in one scoop. Daddy, take me to see Aunt Sophia. George, be good, don't bother Auntie. No, no, I want to see Auntie. Okay, let's go find Auntie. After Sophia finished get off work, she walked downstairs to her company building. A young man from the company was holding a bouquet of flowers. Sophia, although you've only been with the company for 2 months, I liked you the moment I saw you. Will you be my girlfriend? Sophia was trying to figure out how to refuse when she heard, Mom, you're off work. Dad and I have come to pick you up. Mom? You're married? The young man asked. Sophia smiled and nodded. The young man tactfully walked away. George, what brings you here? Sophia ran over and pinched his cheek. I'm here to help you out. Auntie, if you want to date my dad, don't agree to date anyone else. George, what are you saying? John said. Children speak without thinking. Auntie, can I call you Mom? George. It's okay, I don't mind. If her own child were still alive, she would be a mother too. George insisted on coming to see you, and I couldn't do anything about it, John explained. Oh, so where does George want to go? I want to watch a movie. Okay, let's go. The three of them watched an animated film together, and when they came out, George had already fallen asleep. John carried George and Sophia as they walked down the street. The child is so noisy, it must be tiring for you, Miss Sophia. No need to be so polite, I like George quite a bit too. Isn't George's mother with him? He doesn't have a mother, I adopted him from an orphanage. So George was so pitiful, he was never married. Just then, a car sped towards them from the side of the road. John grabbed Sophia and put his arm around her waist. She looked at him in surprise. Watch out for cars. John explained. President John, Miss Sophia's information has been sent to you. John received the message from Cole's assistant as he poured himself a glass of water in his pajamas that evening. John checked the information, there was no job available after graduation. How could she have disappeared for those 4 years? John called Cole's assistant, continue investigating the 4 years he disappeared after graduation. Handle the follow-up work on the company's cooperation with Sophia, have her liaise directly with me, John instructed Cole's assistant early that morning. Yes, Mr. John, Cole's assistant chuckled to himself. In the afternoon, Sophia arrived at H Group to discuss further cooperation matters. Cole's assistant led her into President John's office. Good afternoon, President John. Sophia greeted John as she entered his office. Have a seat. Sophia sat down on the office sofa. Sit here. John gestured to the chair opposite his desk. Oh, okay. Sophia walked over somewhat awkwardly. Sophia explained the details of the collaboration, while John stared intently at her. At that moment, Cole's assistant walked in. President John, it's lunchtime. Then I'll head back now, we can talk again next time. Let's continue this afternoon, let's have lunch together, Assistant Cole. Yes, President John. Cole's assistant prepared the food and placed it on the coffee table on the sofa. Come and eat. Okay, then I won't be polite. Sophia smiled. Watching Sophia wolf down her food, John chuckled. Eat slowly, is it really that delicious? Wanda used to punish me by not letting me eat, so now everything tastes better. It seems she suffered a lot in the past, but now she talks about it so casually. She's truly an optimistic and strong girl, John thought to himself. H Group actually let them win the bid. That small company, if it weren't for Sophia, this project would have been ours, Mrs. Zyla said angrily. Yes, a project worth billions just flew away like that. Daniel said. She thinks that by climbing the social ladder through John, she can become a phoenix on a branch. Don't even think about it. Mom, leave it to me. The old lady led George down the street, and George ate ice cream. Great-grandma, that amusement park was so much fun. Great-grandma will take you again next time. Now we should go home. Okay. Our company is just ahead. should we go find Daddy? Dad's at work, don't distract him. Sophia walked out of the H group building. It was afternoon, a quiet time, and George was about to call her when a van pulled up. Someone got out, quickly covered her mouth, and shoved her inside. Great-grandma, Mom's been taken away. George pointed to the van. The old lady was startled at first, but immediately understood what was happening. She said to the two bodyguards behind her, "Go and save her. How dare they touch my family? They're courting death." The bodyguard immediately drove after them and started making phone calls. "Grandson, your wife has been kidnapped," the old lady called John. Huh? John was still wondering when he'd ever had a wife. He only heard George's voice on the other end of the phone, "Dad, Mom's been taken away. Go save her." He then realized it was Sophia. Okay, Dad got it. Sophia was taken to an abandoned chemical plant. "Who are you? Why are you kidnapping me?" "That depends on who you've offended. Someone paid to teach you a lesson." The leader of the thugs pinched her chin. "Take your hand off me, don't touch me. Let me go, and I'll give you double the money." "I wouldn't dare offend the sugar daddy." "Brother, I didn't expect this chick to be so beautiful." "What's the rush? You'll get your turn soon enough." "Then let me go first, otherwise it won't be convenient later, right?" Sophia said calmly. "This little girl is quite sensible, you can't run away even if you're told to." The older brother gave his younger brother a look, signaling him to untie her ropes. The man slowly approached him. In desperation, she headbutted his head and then kicked him in the groin, causing him to wince in pain. Sophia seized the opportunity and ran downstairs. "Chase after her," the elder brother commanded, and two of his men gave chase. In her frantic escape, she tripped and twisted her ankle, but she endured the pain and continued running. The two men were much faster than she was, and they grabbed her arm. One of them slapped her while the other tore at her clothes. She struggled desperately. Outside the factory, John had already arrived in his car. With a single glance, a group of bodyguards swarmed forward and gave the three thugs a sound beating. Sophia, terrified, crouched on the ground protecting her clothes. John went over to help her up, but she resisted in fear. "It's me, Sophia." Sophia looked up at him, then threw herself into his arms and burst into tears. "Find out who did it," John said to Cole's assistant. "Yes, sir." John then scooped Sophia up in his arms and carried her away. Sophia, still shaken, was in the car. "It's all right now." "President John, how did you know I was in danger?" "It was George. He and the old lady saw you being kidnapped and sent me to rescue you." "Thank goodness for George, thank you, President John." Sophia regained her composure. "You really want to thank me?" "Of course." "Then do me a favor. Tell me, anything I can do." "You know George is someone I adopted from an orphanage. The old lady thought he was my biological son, and today she mistook you for his mother." "So?" "The old lady asked me to take you back to the old house." "You want me to play the role of George's mother?" "Yes, if possible." "President John, you shouldn't lie." "Yes, I'll explain it to the old lady later." "All right then. I'll help you this once, and for George's sake too." The car drove towards the old house. When they arrived at the door, Sophia tried to get out, but John stopped her. "Don't try to be strong with your leg anymore," he said, forcefully picking her up without her consent. Sophia stared intently at him from his arms. "Sophia, have you looked enough?" Sophia immediately lowered her head, her face instantly turning bright red. "Grandma, we're back." Mom. George ran over when he heard the voices. "John, put me down quickly." John gently placed her in the living room. "Hello, Grandma." "Grandma, this is Sophia." "Child, come sit down. Your forehead is bleeding." "Grandma, I'm fine, thanks to John who saved me in time." "Grandma, she twisted her ankle too, I'll go get some medicine for her." Go quickly. John brought medicine to disinfect and bandage her wound. Hearing her cry out in pain, he gently comforted her. Bear with it, it'll be over soon. Mom, George will blow on it for you, it won't hurt anymore. George said, blowing on her forehead. George, thank you, you saved me today. George is a little man now, he can protect Mommy. Sophia cried with emotion. If her child were alive, he would be about the same age as George, but sadly she couldn't protect him back then. Mommy, don't cry, don't cry. George wiped away Sophia's tears. Sophia, you should stay here for now and not leave until you've recovered. Grandma won't do. Sophia and John refused almost simultaneously. Don't you miss George staying here? Besides, we can take care of you while you recover. It's settled then, you'll stay here tonight. Sophia turned and gave John a pleading look, and John coughed twice, feigning concern. I had some clothes bought this afternoon and put them in John's room. You two should wash up and go to bed early. George, go with great-grandma, let's go to sleep first. Okay, great-grandma, good night Mom and Dad. This kid is quite perceptive. Sophia, it's so late and you're still not home? Are you planning to stay out all night? Dad called to question him. Dad, John gestured for him to answer the phone. Uncle, I'm John. The old lady would like Miss Sophia to stay with her for a few days. Is that convenient? President John? Oh, very convenient, very convenient. All right, then that's settled. Please don't blame Miss Sophia. Not at all. Such great ability, to actually win the old lady's favor, she really has some tricks up her sleeve, Wanda thought to herself, puzzled after hearing the conversation on the phone. Sophia, after showering and still in her pajamas, walked into John's room and said apologetically, I'll sleep on the sofa. You sleep on the bed, I'll sleep on the sofa. That's not good. I'm the one who put you in this awkward situation, and I haven't even thanked you yet. How can I let you sleep on the sofa? It's settled then. Okay. John took a blanket from the closet and lay down on the sofa. In the middle of the night, Sophia had a nightmare, kicked off the blanket, and kept saying, please give it back to me, please give it back to me. John went over to cover her with the blanket, but found 2 lines of tears on her face. He wiped away her tears and kissed her forehead, which seemed to calm her furrowed brow. What has happened to this girl that even her dreams are filled with sorrow? The next day, Sophia woke up to find John already sitting on the sofa. You're awake. Let's go out for breakfast together after you've washed up. Okay. She changed her clothes and went to the dining room with John. Good morning, Grandma. Good morning, George. Good morning, Sophia. Get up and come have breakfast. Good morning, Mom and Dad. Good morning, George. Sophia patted his head. John, now that you've found George and Sophia, you should go and propose marriage as soon as possible. You can't let Sophia suffer. Sophia, who was drinking milk, almost spat it out. Drink slowly, child, the old lady said. The misunderstanding was escalating, how to resolve it? Sophia and John exchanged glances. Grandma, no rush. We've only just reunited. Let's wait until Sophia is feeling better, John said anxiously. That's fine then. Grandma, I've finished eating. I'm going to work. You're injured, and you're still going to work? You should rest at home. Grandma, the company's busy, I have to go. It's okay, I promise I'll try to sit still at work as much as possible. Then John will take you. Okay, Grandma. John replied to his grandmother. Inside the car, he gentlemanly helped her fasten her seatbelt. They were very close, seemingly able to hear each other's quickened heartbeats. President John, you should explain things to the old lady as soon as possible. Otherwise, she might really propose marriage. If she proposes, I'll marry you. I was just kidding, Miss Sophia. Are you worried your boyfriend might misunderstand? I don't have a boyfriend. Oh. John smiled secretly. Besides, I'm not good enough for you. Why not? I. Sophia recalled that 4 years ago, when she woke up in a hotel room, her whole body ached. The room was empty, and she had been violated without her knowledge. She hugged herself and cried bitterly. Later, she went to the hospital for a checkup and found out that she was pregnant. Mabel found her pregnancy test results and told her parents. Her father slapped her hard, saying, "Tell me who that man is. You just graduated and you're already doing this, getting pregnant." "I don't know who he is." "You're still protecting him, aren't you? Go to the hospital and abort this child. Don't bring shame to our family." "Dad, I won't abort it. It's a life too." "Sophia, how could you do such a thing? You're so young and already behaving badly." Wanda chimed in, adding fuel to the fire and criticizing her. "I was framed." "Who framed you? Why were you drinking at the graduation party? And then you had a one-night stand after drinking too much." She didn't have any evidence that Mabel was behind it, but she happened to run into her that day, drank the drink Mabel offered her, and then passed out. "Dad, I want to give birth to this child. Someone, take her to the villa in the suburbs and keep her there. Don't let her leave unless absolutely necessary." From then on, she was confined to the villa in the suburbs, where she carried a boy for 10 months and gave birth to him. A few days after giving birth, Wanda told her that the baby had a fever and convulsions, and it was too late to get to the hospital. She wanted to see her child one last time, but they stopped her, which caused her to be heartbroken and emaciated. It took her a long time to recover. "Sophia, we're here." John's words pulled her back to reality. "Okay, goodbye, President John. I'll pick you up after get off work." "Okay." After dinner, George said, "Mom, can you help me take a bath today?" "Sure, George." "He's been clinging to Mom ever since she came," Great-Grandma teased. Sophia filled the tub with hot water and helped George undress. She even scratched him. "Mommy, it itches." "Where does it itch?" "Here." He pointed to the spot where he'd been scratched. "Oh, here." Sophia scratched him again. The two of them laughed happily in the bathroom. "Look how happy this mother and son are," the old lady sitting in the living room said to John. He smiled slightly. If only this happiness could last forever, but these scenes were just something he had temporarily pieced together. Sophia put George in the bathtub and started scrubbing his back, but noticed a round, red birthmark on his buttocks. She vaguely remembered seeing a similar birthmark on her son's buttocks. "Impossible, impossible," she denied it, the child was gone, it could just be a coincidence. After George finished his bath, she carried him back to the living room. "George said he wants to sleep with you two tonight, right, George?" Great-Grandma said. "Yes, I want to sleep with Mom and Dad tonight." John and Sophia had no idea that the old lady had George supervise whether they were sleeping together. They exchanged a glance for a couple of seconds, then smiled awkwardly. "I want to sleep in the middle, so Mom and Dad can cuddle me," George said, lying down in bed. "Which side are you sleeping on?" Sophia asked John shyly. "It's okay, there's a baby between us," she reassured herself. "This side," John said, pointing to his right and lying down. Sophia followed. John turned off the light. Soon, George fell asleep. The next day, when they woke up, John was holding Sophia, and Sophia's legs were draped over John. "Good morning," John said first. "Good morning," Sophia replied shyly, pulling her legs away from him. "George, where's George?" John thought of his son. George was lying at their feet. "Sorry, I have no experience," Sophia said, scratching her head. "It's okay, I have no experience either," John replied with a forced smile. "President John, here's Miss Sophia's file." Cole's assistant approached John that afternoon with a folder. "She's been staying at her villa in the suburbs, apparently, she even called an obstetrician. I found the doctor from that time, who said that Miss Sophia gave birth to a boy 3 years ago, and that she hadn't seen the boy since." According to the servants at the villa at the time, the child seemed to have been sent elsewhere. Whose child is it? I remember Sophia is unmarried. It seems her family doesn't know either, that man has never shown up. What a scumbag. I never knew she had this kind of experience, getting a child right after graduation. President John, I checked 4 years ago, the time you were framed. Miss Sophia happened to be at that hotel with some classmates attending a graduation party. Do you think it's possible? Cole's assistant hesitated to continue, fearing that the scumbag John had mentioned might be himself. I'll go find Sophia and ask her, he said. Miss Sophia will be attending a banquet with her family at 7 o'clock tonight. Okay, I understand. Mom, how do I look in this? Mabel took the party very seriously, saying that several wealthy young men would be attending. My daughter is beautiful, she looks good in anything, Wanda praised her daughter, then glanced at Sophia beside her. The three of them drove together to the banquet hotel. Hello, Mrs. Zyla. Wanda greeted Mrs. Zyla as she ran over. You've come too. Hello, Auntie, this is a coral bracelet I specially bought for you as an apology from my sister for what happened last time, Mabel said, presenting the gift to Mrs. Zyla. This bracelet is so beautiful, thank you. Your Mabel is such a good girl and so thoughtful. Mrs. Zyla picked up the bracelet and looked at it. After the last time, Wanda had specifically inquired about Mrs. Zyla's preferences and spent a lot of money to find this coral bracelet. She went over and helped Mrs. Zyla put it on her wrist. Auntie, this bracelet looks really good on you. Mabel, you have such a sweet tongue. I like it. I see you and my Daniel are about the same age, how about we get married? Wanda was naturally happy to agree, as she had plenty of money. It's all up to my parents. Mabel said, feigning innocence. Then I'll call Daniel over so the two kids can spend some time together. Meanwhile, Daniel was in a hotel room sleeping with someone else. His phone rang, lying in bed with a woman in his arms, he answered, Mom, what is it? Where did you run off to? I can't see you for a second and you've already slipped away again. Get back here right now. Okay, I got it. This Daniel is notorious for being a womanizer, he often indulges in debauchery. A short while later, Daniel arrived at the banquet hall. Mrs. Zyla said, Son, this is Mabel, whom you've met before. You two can chat for a bit. Daniel, of course, understood his mother's meaning. All right, Miss Mabel, let's go have a drink together. Okay. Mabel was overjoyed and left with Daniel. The banquet hotel was located on a mountain, with a courtyard and many paths nearby, making it perfect for strolling. The two left the crowd and walked along a path. Before long, Mabel was seen sitting on Daniel's lap, chatting and laughing happily, their behavior quite ambiguous. Daniel, a playboy who never turned down anyone, naturally enjoyed the moment. When Daniel tried to kiss Mabel, Mabel dodged away. Not wanting him to think she was such a frivolous girl, she excused herself to go to the bathroom. Daniel saw Sophia taking a walk and approached her to flirt with her. During the struggle, Mabel saw them. Sophia, how dare you steal my man, she said, turning and entering the banquet hall. Sophia, to escape Daniel's advances, returned to the banquet hall. Sophia. Mabel slapped her across the face. Mabel, why did you hit me? Are you really that good at seducing people? Don't accuse me. I accuse you? I'm going to expose all your dirty secrets today. Mabel, are you crazy? Sophia, not only did she sleep with a man right after graduation, but she also had a child, Mabel said clearly, enunciating each word. The people present began to murmur. So Miss Sophia already has a child, and she was slept with by someone else. Isn't she unmarried? How could this happen? Mabel continued to reveal more. And she doesn't even know who that other man is. At this point, Sophia's eyes were already brimming with tears. The overwhelming accusations brought back memories of her past experiences. Whose child is it? Tell me. Mabel grabbed her arm. Daniel was also staring in astonishment at the woman she was trying to seduce. Throw her out, someone nearby threw out a sentence. Let's see who dares. Sophia looked up and saw John walk in. She's my woman, John's child, and I'll see who dares to touch her. What? She's John's woman? Wanda and Mabel were the first to be shocked. Impossible. Mabel thought back to how she had clearly hired a thug. If anyone bullies her again, I, John, will never let them get away with it. Daniel, the police will be coming to talk to you soon. You dare to kidnap someone? Good luck. Daniel took a step back in fright. After saying that, John picked up Sophia and strode away. The two sat in the back seat of the car, with Cole's assistant driving. Thank you, President John, for getting me out of that mess again. Now you know about my past. Sophia, I'm asking you, 4 years ago in July, didn't you go to the Vienna Hotel, enter the wrong room, and spend the night with a man? How did you know? That man was me, I was framed back then. It was you? You irresponsible man. Why did you leave without saying goodbye? I had something to do, so I left your business card on the table. Who knew you wouldn't contact me again? I've been looking for you for years. Sophia recalled that when she woke up that morning, she felt sore all over and had a dry mouth. She groggily reached for her water glass on the bedside table, and it seemed something had fallen off. Sophia, can you forgive me? Forgive you? John, you make it sound so easy. Do you know what I've been through these past few years? How much criticism I've suffered, and my child too. If you can give me back my child, I'll forgive you. Sophia's pent-up grievances from the past few years finally erupted at this moment. Sophia, I'm sorry, stop the car, stop the car. Cole's assistant pulled the car over to the side of the road. I don't want to see you again, don't ever appear in front of me again. Sophia got out of the car and said to John inside. What should we do, President John? Cole's assistant said to John inside the car. John got out of the car again and picked Sophia up. John, you bastard, put me down. John shoved her into the car and said sternly, don't move. Sophia was frightened by his sudden tone and had no choice but to obey. Drive back to the old house. Cole's assistant chuckled to herself, having to admire John's domineering nature. She carried Sophia back to the room, placed her on the bed, and pinned her down. Trust me, I will find our child, and I will give you an explanation. John, what are you doing? I've been looking for you for 4 years, and I've waited 4 years for this moment too. Before she could react, he kissed her lips. She tried to break free but couldn't. Slowly, she gave up resisting and began to respond to his passionate kiss. The next day, John held Sophia in his arms and kissed her forehead. Sleepyhead, wake up. I'm so tired, I want to sleep a little longer. Okay, I'll sleep with you a little longer. John smiled and snuggled back into bed. Go and fetch Wanda and Mabel for me, John said to Cole's assistant in his office that afternoon. Late at night, in a workshop, Wanda and Mabel were timidly ushered in. Mom, I'm scared, Mabel said, supporting Wanda. How could Wanda not be terrified at this moment? Having done so many wrong things, she had no idea what fate awaited her tonight. John sat in a chair, smoking a cigarette. President John, we were wrong. We shouldn't have bullied Sophia. Please forgive us. Let you go? How have you treated her all these years? We're family, after all. Who's family with you? Tell me how Sophia ended up in the hotel room, what happened? We didn't do it, Wanda stubbornly refused to admit it. John gave her a look, and Mabel was pulled away by the two men. Mom, save me, save me. It was at her graduation party. Mabel handed her a drugged drink, helped her into a room, and left. She originally called some thugs, but they mistakenly delivered her to your room. She had just graduated, and you harmed her like this? What a vicious stepmother. What happened to the child? The child was healthy after birth, how could he have died of a fever 2 days later, and there are no medical records? Wanda didn't want to tell the story. John gestured, and his subordinate brought over a glass of water. If you don't talk, I'll let your daughter experience what it's like to be drugged. Mom, save me. I'll talk. The child isn't dead. Tell me quickly. John stubbed out his cigarette and asked urgently. I had someone deliver it to the gate of a welfare home. Which one? I really don't know. The person who delivered it didn't tell me, and then he disappeared. Did you hear that, Sophia? John shouted loudly into the room behind him. Sophia stepped forward, approached the mother and daughter, and slapped each of them across the face. How could you two do this to me? You've angered my mother to death, seized my grandparents' property, and now you're trying to harm me. The two women were speechless. What do you want to do with them? Take them to the police station. John waved his hand, and the two were led away by his men. Sophia, I'm your own sister. Mabel pleaded as she was being dragged away. But this time, Sophia showed no mercy. Assistant Cole, search all the welfare homes in the city, John instructed Cole, who was watching. Yes, Mr. John. Just then, the old lady called. John, where are you? Come back quickly, George is in the hospital. Grandma, we're coming right away. When John and Sophia arrived at the hospital, the old lady was sitting anxiously in the corridor. Grandma. Sophia ran over. Grandma, how is George? I don't know yet. I woke up in the middle of the night and you weren't home, so I got up to look for you and fell down the stairs. I'm bleeding a lot. At this moment, the doctor came out of the emergency room. The child lost too much blood and needs a transfusion. He's type A. I'm type A, take mine. I'm also type A, take mine. Immediate family members can't donate blood, the old woman said. Grandma. I'll explain later. Explain what? George is your son, you can't use your blood. Grandma, actually George isn't my son. I found him at the orphanage to appease you. You think I'm that easy to fool? After George arrived, I had a paternity test done for you and him. Look at the report. The old lady took out her phone, and John checked the report. He looked at Sophia in disbelief. George is my son. George is our son. And there's Sophia's paternity test report. Sophia looked at the report and cried, John, our child is George. John hugged her, and they both wept with joy. It's true what they say, birds of a feather flock together, it's all fate, the old lady said happily. Don't worry, I've already gotten blood from the blood bank, the doctor said. After several hours of emergency treatment, George was out of danger. Mom and Dad. George called out to Sophia and John, who were sitting by his bedside. Mom and Dad are here. Mom and Dad, George thought you didn't want me anymore. George, Mom and Dad will always be with you, we'll never abandon you. Sophia said, hugging George who was lying on the hospital bed. I want a hug too. John bent down and hugged them both. This gesture made George chuckle. After George was discharged from the hospital, the family of 4 went on vacation to the beach. Great-grandmother and George happily played in the sand on the beach, while John and Sophia sat side by side watching the sunset. Sophia, let's spend the rest of our lives together. That depends on how John behaves. John looked at her beautiful, smiling face and couldn't help but kiss her lips. She responded, and the two enjoyed the happiness of the moment. A few months later, they held a grand wedding, with George serving as the flower boy. Witnessed by family and friends, the two finally walked happily together.